Hello everyone, for those who don't know me, I'm Emma and I'm the artist behind Unsteady Art. So continuing from last week's video where I actually introduced you to Patrikios, they are lovely fish. We've managed to, as you can see already in the middle, we've now got to digitize stage and then just marrying up some of the wording. So let's see how we go and let's get on with it. So as you can see, both fishes are side by side, so both koi. So I think this time round the base colour is actually the middle colour, which is this one here, because they're both the same on that. So I think I'm going to start with that, and then bring the other colours in as we need it. So this is on the default. So if I right click on this section and go to my low palettes, these are the new ones that I've got. So I just need to find the ones that have got my lighter colour greys. So we've got that there. So if I just do a full a fill stitch for now, all I'm doing is just blocking it off. So you right click to get the triangles, and you so all I'm going to do is just a normal circle. So you left click for the triangles, which is straight, and then you right click to go around. You want to go back one, all you have to do is press the backspace on the keyboard. So let me just do that. So that now, if you look next to the cursor, has gone a weird shape with a hole in. So that's if you're wanting it to put a hole. So say for example, if I was doing the fin there, I'd put a hole across there just so it's not doubling up, because we need as little as possible to be stitched on so it doesn't end up then getting too thick. So I enter on that, then it's your start and stop. So circles for start, crosses for stop, enter, and then it brings you the squiggly lines. Now the squiggly lines is only where the stitching is going. If I click this button here, it will turn into the actual stitches. So that is close. I go to project, select, then just go to the one next to it. That still looks too light. Against the stitching. So if I go over here, so this is what it needs to match up with, which I suppose it is close enough. It's whether or not it's going to be too close to the white colour. And the next one is this one that then goes way too dark. So I think I am going to have to stop with that, because that then can become that colour there. So let's take that off, and yeah, let's start doing it. So it's going on as a pocket, so it doesn't need to be from inside out like I do with a hat. But I try to still keep it where it's going at least outwards, so it stretches that way on. That is going to end up being the middle, so I think I might start there, go around, and then do the same then for that one. So fill stitch. I want to go slightly over the top of the other colour, just so we get as little gaps as possible. Now this in between is the same colour here, so I think I might just continue straight over top of that. go close to the edge on the outside because that's the colour that's going to go. That is the same colour again, so let's go around that. And then with this one, I don't need to be anywhere near other than this place here, which once again, just go around. With it being the first one, majority of the time it's going to be overlapping on the next colours. You don't need to fully close it, it will close itself as long as you've got it near enough for it to understand what you're doing. So, to be honest, no, I'm not going to put a hole for that or that. Because it'll run a bit more flat. So start, we want somewhere over here to the highest. Stop. Now I need to think of where's the nearest part that I need to be next. So the nearest part is here. So if I stop there, now direction wise, it is a fish. So I'm going to go diagonal that way. I'm going to take that so I can actually still see it. Now I'm going to go to the walking stitch, which is up here, where the stop is. I'm going to start there. Fill back in. So I want to start where that is. And then we rinse and repeat. I think of it more of tracing, but the difference is you're not always doing it to the exact. So you've got to be mindful of where you're going next. What's your let's hook out on that a bit. Where we're going next, what your colour we're going to change to. When I do the other colour, is it going to layer up correctly? As you can see, sometimes even I make mistakes of trying to work out which one it is. I am faster than what some of them can be, but we all make mistakes, and when it stitches out it can be a complete different scenario as well, because the material that it's going onto. So this is a jumper so far, but it could be other materials later on. So we've got to put that into play as well. So there is none of that colour in the fin, so I'm just going to drag it back down again. That. Save a hole, I can go around there as well. The less thread you use, so the more holes that you can put in to lighten the load, means the less time it can take. Yes, I have to admit, doing a complete full fill stitch is a lot quicker, but it means that it can stretch it and contort it a bit more as well, in my opinion. When it comes to stabilisers, t-shirts I usually do with 2 stabilisers back to back, just to make sure it's not stretching as much. Hoodies aren't too bad, so it's usually 1, not unless it's made of not a traditional colour, material, sorry. With colours, do remember though that, for example, with this being majority of a very light colour, it wouldn't show as much on light background, so you might have to put a colour behind it just to make it stand back out. With this part, you see, if I didn't put a big enough block, it just was a fill stitch, sorry, a satin stitch rather than a fill. We don't want that to happen because that would stand out. So we're starting the same place as we ended last time. The next part that's got this similar type of colour is the fin. So I think I might stop it there. Direction this time round, we're kind of going round, so I might have to do like a midway. So then we do the walking stitch here. But to be honest, we don't need the walking stitch because what I can do is do a fill stitch from where it is. And then go straight onto it. So the thing to think about as well when it comes to doing anything like this, it can swell. So where your lines is versus the stitching can sometimes overlap. So if something is very close together, you might find that, say for example with certain lettering, it just looks like one big word or one big blob because it doesn't resemble much. And then you just play around with the design until you get something that's decent. I do always do test stitches because I feel so guilty if something's gone wrong on first try. So I will take money out my back pocket just to be able to make it look correct. So start there, and I think we'll finish there. The fin, if we go that way, it's probably going to end up looking a bit unusual, so I think I might just do it slightly off. So it kind of concertinas round. So if I then liven that up, that's what you're getting. I have just realised though that we needed to change it to that colour. There we go. So this is more of a very, very light silver. All of my thread is poly neon. I always have it where it's got that shine quality to it. So it's more of a, I won't say glossy because it isn't, it's just how it naturally is. You can now get matte threads. I'm not the biggest lover of that. I like the fact that I can change the stitch and at different angles you can see different colours, so it kind of makes it like it lives a little bit. So it's quite nice for that one. So if I then just take that off, we're then repeating on the other side. But what I'm going to do is purposely show you what it is then to do the other colour. So at the moment I've got selected the white, so I'll off click on that. I'll click on my last bit of thread. I'm then going to go for the white. So the white that I use is a super white, so it will show up a little bit more than what it would do on other places. Just so I can show you this. So what I've done here is stupidly change the colour of the fin. So if I show you on there, so you can see the colour difference. So it is a lot brighter than what it would be if it was the natural white. So all I do to make them go back to where they were, click on the top, not with Nico, shift and click the other, and then just re-pick on the mist colour. So you see there, that is all the colours that I'll be using. So click back off, And then I'm going to go again with the fill stitch, and then I'm going to change the white. So I'll take that bit off again. So this is going over the top, and it is going to be the last bit over the top. So I need to go really quite close, because this will form then the outline. That is going to be underneath, so that will be covering it. And then this is on the edge, so I need to follow the guidelines again. So once again, no hole, start, finish, enter. So I'm going to purposely go on here, so that has done a satin stitch. It's very close, but it's fine to do that. It is an edge outline, so I'm not as stringent looking with that. It'll just mean that it'll show that it's more bright. Once again, take that off. Now I'm on walking stitch. So there's a little bit here, even though I've covered straight over the top. But all I can do for that is if I go and pick that back up, I can then drop that slightly. And then the same with that one as well. Push that a bit further down, just so it goes, it's not stretching them out. There we go. That's the walking stitch. Back onto fill. Start, finish. Another walking stitch. Fill. And then this time round, I'm going to go up towards the fin. So with this being a bit of a cone shape, and it is end up going to do a satin stitch anyway. So if you see this icon here, this is the column one. So you start off where you need to be. And I'm right clicking to be able to get the circle. So inside to outside. Make that a straight stitch. If we look at that, then it does a column, which is absolutely fine. Just going to briefly go back to that and then move that so it's a bit further that way for it to catch. So Right, I'm actually going to make another decision here. So what I've done is a walking stitch underneath, then it does that, but then it's going to cut to go there. But if I delete that off, stretch that to go upwards, and do it from the top to the bottom, so at least it'll still cover, and I can then bridge it across to the other one. And I can go out a bit further as well, because that is going to cover anyway. Then I can go back to the walking stitch, and I think I might do the same column stitch with this as well. Try and keep them uniform distance, not unless it's just before going over a bend. Need to do it a little bit out, because that will dictate where the direction of the stitch is going. And that's that. So, need to do the other colours, but it's pretty much identical way of doing it. So I'm going to disappear off this and just crack on so I can speed it all up.
Hey everyone, so I just thought I'd make this last bit of a video. So for the last few days I've been altering and changing the colours around. It didn't want the harsh colours. Now with the type of thread that I use, you can manipulate how light sees it. Changing the direction of the stitch means that you get it in a different play. So this is the bit that is gone through. Just trying to get it so none of other things are popping out. There we go. So if I move it round, you might see that there's different colours moving. So there's a few bits I need to alter and change, so getting them so the gaps go together. I've also got a bit of an idea with the coloration, just to sort of give it a little bit more of a feel. But that is it for this video. So if you did like this, please like, subscribe, comment. Love to hear what you said. And I will see you next week. So bye.